to proceed. We do have all the parties participating and available for hearing number 1, and Tribunal Counsel is also present. And I'm just going to get a verification if once the live stream is started, once we hit 9 o'clock, and then we can proceed to start with the meeting.
Okay.
So we'll just wait for that confirmation once 9 o'clock comes.
Okay, stream is active, Peter.
Okay, thank you. So Madam Chair, I'll turn the meeting over to you.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to our virtual meeting of the Brampton Appeal Tribunal. We'll begin the meeting with the City Clerk calling the roll for Tribunal attendance at today's meeting. Was the roll already conducted?
Through you, Madam Chair, I think we can assume the roll's been conducted because we verified the connections for the 3 members.
Okay,
we have 2 absences.
Okay, thank you. In consideration of the current COVID-19 public health orders prohibiting large public gatherings of people and requirements for physical distancing between persons, in-person attendance at this tribunal hearing is restricted. Therefore, this hearing will be conducted by way of virtual meeting with the appellants, the city case presenter, witnesses, tribunal members, and tribunal counsel participating remotely. The hearing will continue to remain publicly accessible for transparency and accountability. The public can access the hearing proceedings remotely through the city's live stream and playback of the archived video stream through the city's website. Some reminders before we start today's hearing. Please ensure your video is off and microphone is muted until you are assigned the floor. Then you can turn both on when you speak. This will help ensure only one person is speaking at one time and minimize other background disruptions during the meeting. Before starting today, it is appropriate for the tribunal to issue a procedural order to govern the conduct and of the proceedings during the current COVID-19 pandemic and requirement for physical distancing. The city clerk will put on the screen the procedural order for the tribunal's review and adoption. Whereas the city of Brampton continues to experience the effects of and necessity to take action to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19, whereas one of the means to reduce transmission continues to be physical distancing, therefore, be it resolved that Brampton Appeal Tribunal adapt its meeting procedures in accordance with the advice of public health officials by electronic means where possible and practical to continue a fair hearing process for tribunal matters, and any reference to a hearing within the rules of procedure as set out in bylaw 48/2008 as amended may also include a virtual public hearing conducted online by electronic means using WebEx or like teleconferencing technology. Is there any objection by tribunal members to this procedural order to allow our hearings to be conducted electronically using WebEx or like teleconferencing technology? If there is no objection raised, we shall proceed. Thank you. The procedural order carries. Today's hearing will be conducted according to the rules established by the City Bylaws 48/2008 and under the Statutory Powers Procedure Act to ensure a fair hearing of each appeal matter. The rules of evidence of the tribunal are informal. However, anyone giving evidence at this hearing as a witness must first swear under oath or affirm to tell the truth. The way in which the hearing will proceed is as follows. 1. First, the city's case presenter will bring its case, including presenting evidence through its witnesses. 2. The appellant will have an opportunity to ask questions of each of the city's witnesses, after which the city's case presenter may reply if necessary. 3. The tribunal members in a defined order will then have an opportunity to ask questions of clarification of the case presenter and each witness. 4. Then, after the city finishes presenting its case, the appellant will present its case, including presenting evidence through its witnesses. 5. The city case presenter will have an opportunity to ask questions of the appellant and any witness or the appellant, after which the appellant may reply if necessary. 6. The tribunal members, in a defined order, will then have an opportunity to ask questions of clarification of the appellant and its witnesses. 7. The case presenter and the appellant will then make closing submissions in order to summarize their evidence, their position, and the decision being asked of the tribunal. All questions to the witnesses, whether from the case presenter, the tribunal, or appellant, must be related to matters that are relevant to the hearing. The tribunal may recall a witness for the purpose of clarifying a point that has arisen since the witness has concluded his or her main presentation. In addition, any person giving evidence may refuse to answer any question asked of him or her if the answer may tend to incriminate him or her or may tend to establish his or her liability in a civil proceeding. After hearing all of the evidence and submissions, the hearing is completed. The tribunal will adjourn the matter and retire to make its decision after all hearings are completed today. The tribunal decisions will be mailed to the appellant and other interested parties, generally within 15 days of the hearing date, which is today. The decision of the tribunal is final and binding, but may be subjected to judicial review in certain circumstances. Declarations of pecuniary interest. We are now at item 2, declarations of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Does any member have a declaration of pecuniary interest? Yes.
Sorry, Natalie, can we do roll call first, please?
Yes, for sure.
Perfect. I'm going to do roll call, and then you can certainly move on to declarations of pecuniary interest.
Okay.
Will Ramjas has sent regrets. Natalie Javid.
Present.
Marcia Malcolm.
Present.
Beryl Ford. Beryl Ford.
Present.
Thank you. And for the record, Sardara Singh Shera has sent regrets as well. You may proceed.
Declarations of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Does any member have a declaration of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Conflict Act of Interest, of Interest Act, for any matters to be considered on today's agenda?
Ford, no conflict. Marsha Malcolm, no conflict.
Natalie Javid, no conflict. The clerk will so note for the meeting minutes there were no declarations made. I believe this will commence our, first hearing. The first hearing is appellant Sharon Graywall. Our first hearing is to consider an appeal under section 28 of the dog bylaw to 250/2005 as amended of the Corporation of the City of Brampton by Sharon Graywall regarding the decision of the pound keeper to designate a dog by the name of Rex as a potentially dangerous dog. The authority of the tribunal includes the following: to make any decision the pound keeper could have made, to direct that the owner do anything under dog bylaw 250/2005 that the tribunal considers proper, and or to substitute its opinion for that of the pound keeper. The tribunal will make a decision that furthers the public interest and is consistent with the purpose and intent of the dog bylaw. At this hearing, we have the following parties: Allison Banting, the city case presenter; Sharon Graywall, the appellants; city case presenter evidence. I will now turn the floor over to the city's case presenter to bring its case, including presenting evidence through its witnesses.
Good morning, Madam Chair. It's Allison Banting, the city case presenter, and fellow tribunal members. I can indicate when I logged on, I understand that Ms. Graywall is not present. and that somebody may have attended on her behalf in person. And I don't know if they're comfortable with presenting the case today electronically.
So, Madam Chair, it's Peter. Mr. Graywall has attended in person at the City Hall Council chambers. And we understand that this person may be the husband of Sharon Graywall. So perhaps, Mr. Graywall, can you just come to the podium so we can just confirm your relationship and status in terms of preparedness for moving forward with this hearing this morning?
Yes, I'm here at the podium. Good morning, all the members. It's Gurjeet Graywall, Sharon Graywall's husband. I'm here.
Please go ahead, Allison.
Okay, and will he be representing his spouse then?
Yes, I'm representing Sharon Graywall.
Okay, and is there any concern that he won't be able to present any of the documents that he brought with him?
I have documents to present, yes.
So just through you, Madam Chair, Mr. Graywall does have a reference letter, I believe, that I am unable to provide to you because I was not aware of this, and he is at City Hall. I'm not sure if the committee wants to consider postponing the matter so they can be online with the assistance of their daughter, or proceed with the matter, and maybe Mr. Graywall can read the letter as sufficient evidence.
Sorry, I may be out of line, but is there any way that he could take a picture of it and then have it emailed to either yourself or Peter, and then have it distributed to the other members of the tribunal, including myself?
Through you, Madam Chair, I did speak with Mr. Graywall, and unfortunately he doesn't have the means to do that with his phone.
Okay.
So, Madam Chair, I do see somebody else on the line who's identified themselves as Sharon. So it may be somebody affiliated with Mr. Graywall and Sharon Graywall. I'm just going to unmute this person.
Okay.
Can you please identify yourself, Sharon?
Yes, I'm at home.
Okay.
I'm the Sharon.
Hi, Sharon. Are you able to, do you have access to the documents that Mr. Graywall has that can be shared with?
He's not at home. He's there. I don't have any documents with me.
I have all the documents. I think I would agree and consent to the officer who presented this case from the city. It'd be better if we postpone, then we can email to you all that information before. Sorry that we haven't done that before. That's probably the best way to proceed this case if we adjourn this for the next date.
So, Madam Chair, normally we do have in the chambers a device, essentially a digital overhead device to show video, but Tony, I think we moved that because of COVID, so it's not at the podium right now. Is that correct? Just looking for confirmation. I don't recall seeing.
We can look for it. I don't know where it is. We'll go look for it quickly.
Okay. So Madam Chair, we're at your disposal if you wish to proceed or wish to, I guess, acknowledge the request from the representative for the appellant to defer this matter to a future hearing. If we do find the digital overhead, it probably will take some time to set up, and it will allow us to display, although we haven't tested it in a virtual meeting, whatever evidence Mr. Graywall has on his person. He can see the evidence that is on the screen because there is a screen in the chambers. So anything that is presented in the meeting digitally, as is the document that's on the screen right now, he can see from the chambers.
And there's no one at City Hall that can actually photocopy or scan and have it distributed to us, that document?
We could. There's no one from the clerk's office because we did not anticipate anybody attending because nobody pre-registered to attend this hearing. And we are recommending strongly that people participate remotely given the prevailing COVID-19 pandemic.
Right. Well, the rules of evidence are lax at these tribunals. I don't know. I guess I'll have to take a poll with my other members. Does the city case presenter have witnesses? And are the witnesses present today?
Yes, I have 2 city employees present, along with a civilian witness that I understand is also present.
That's correct, Madam Chair.
I'm not sure if I'm just going to put it out there, and I'll give the floor to my other tribunal members, but I just don't think it's, I think it's almost prejudicial to adjourn this matter as a result of a reference letter when we have a civilian witness in attendance today, at whom I'm sure made arrangements to be present for today's hearing. I don't know, I'll leave it to Marcia and Beryl for their opinions. What say you, Marcia and or Beryl?
Well, does Mr. or Mrs. Gruel, do they have any witnesses with them present today? Did they bring anybody to City Hall? Did Mr. Greywall bring anybody to City Hall with him as a witness? So are they presenting witnesses?
I will have my wife, and we'll have maybe one more witness. Yes.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't quite understand.
I said if adjourned that my wife be witness, and we will have one more witness at that time. Yes.
Is that witness online? Or
But they're not present today.
No.
Sorry, Beryl.
We are online present.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
my
the wife is online.
And plus my daughter, she is here also with me.
Okay, so your witnesses are also present today.
Yes.
Can I ask why Mr. Greywall is requesting a deferral?
Because he was the one had that incident.
Sorry?
He was that what incident happened. He was the one is involved in that.
Okay, thank you.
So, Madam Chair, to be helpful, we can have somebody either from the clerk's office, I'm just seeing who's at City Hall right now, or our colleagues in information technology to come over to help copy or scan those documents.
Wonderful.
And then they can be shared with Tammy and myself, and we can share them with the committee.
Okay. What say you, Marcia, about adjourning this matter for the following hearing?
I see
Everyone's present.
I say that we hold down the matter and see if anybody from the clerk's office can obtain the equipment to show us a copy and provide a copy just for the record. And if they are able to do so, we can then go ahead and proceed. If not, adjourn it to a future date. I agree with Marcia on that point.
I agree. So can we hold this matter down, or what do you believe we would need? Should we go on to, I don't believe we can start with the next matter, can we?
Through you, Madam Chair, the next matter is scheduled for 10, and I believe the parties have not joined yet for that session. I'm hoping it'll be 5 to 10 minutes if we can get somebody up to the chambers to take pictures of those documents that Mr. Greywall has, and then send them to myself and Tammy, and we can share it with the committee.
Okay, wonderful.
I'll send the documents. I'll trust in the documents.
Thank you, Tony.
Would it be possible, given the time restrictions, it's now 9:18, to start with the civilian witness, and then when the documents are available, when Mr. Greywall or Ms. Greywall presents, we would have the documentation?
I think since it's the city case presenter's floor at this moment, I think we should proceed, and hopefully by then we will have the material of Mr. Greywall.
Okay, great. And will it be both Sharon Greywall and Mr. Greywall? I'm sorry, I didn't hear his first name. Are they both co-appellants?
I see Sharon Graywall as the owner of the dog.
Right, okay.
It's a family dog, and in the registration is my name, but it's a family dog.
Okay. Okay, so am I okay to start then, Madam Chair?
Yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay, great, thank you. So again, this is for the potentially dangerous dog designation of Rex, owned by Sharon Grewal, for an incident that occurred on May 29th, 2020, near 9 Lillington Street. And I do have, the first witness I would like to call is Dave Drilling. He was his owner of the dog that was involved with the incident.
So, Madam Chair and City Case Presenter, we've just brought Dave Rilling into the session. Dave, you can unmute your microphone, and I believe Tammy Jackson, our Legislative Coordinator, will be administering an oath or affirmation to you first.
Okay, it's unmuted. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can, sir, would you like to be sworn in using the Bible or affirmed?
Bible is fine.
Thank you. Can everybody see the Bible?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Rillings, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Rilling. My name is Allison Banting.
Good morning, Ms. Bending.
Good morning. I'm the case presenter for the City of Brampton. So I am going to ask you a few questions regarding the incident that occurred on May the 29th of 2020.
Okay.
Between your dog, Tyson, and the appellant's dog, Rex.
Okay.
So I understand at approximately 1:15 in the afternoon, you were walking your dog, Tyson, on Lillington Street. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I was with my daughter and my father as well. Do you want them as witnesses?
No, you're fine. Just you, it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
And are you familiar with this area?
I am. I live the street right beside.
Okay. And do you walk your dog in this area?
Every day.
Oh, every day. Okay. And what type of dog do you own?
We own a boxer.
Okay. And how old is your dog?
He's 2 years old.
Okay. And when you came near 9 Lillington Street?
That's correct. We were walking down Lillington Street.
Okay. And what happened then?
So I have my witness statement. Do you want me to read or just? As we were coming down Lillington Street, we were walking with my daughter and my father as well. As we were walking towards 9 Lillington, we saw that there was, I guess his name is Rex now. They were calling him Gucci at the time, but he was sitting in the yard, in the middle of the yard without a leash. So we saw him and we walked to the other side of the road on the other curb. And as we started walking, his dog completely ran towards our dog and started attacking him immediately. The owner he was actually on the driveway. We started yelling. We were screaming at the dog as it started attacking our dog. After a couple minutes, the owner came over and started yelling at his dog. He was grabbing his dog. He couldn't control his dog. And that was the attack, what happened on Tyson.
Okay. So if I can just go back. So you were walking on the same side of the road that the dog was?
Originally, yes, but we saw that there was a dog on leash. So we were on the opposite side of the road on the curb.
Okay. And you said you saw the dog on a leash?
No, not on a leash. No leash. No collar even.
No collar. Okay.
No.
And are you familiar with this dog? Have you seen this dog before?
Yes. Oh yes, many people in the neighborhood are. He's always out there barking at everybody.
Okay, but you've never had any interactions with this dog or the dog owner prior to this?
No.
Okay, so you moved to the opposite side of the street?
Yes, that's correct.
Are there sidewalks? Were you on the sidewalk?
No, there's no sidewalks on the street. It's a small residential street. We were on the opposite curb.
Okay, and then the dog came running off the property?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and do you recall where Mr. Grewal was in relation to the dog when you saw him on the grass?
There was the cars on the driveway. He was beside the car closest to the garage door.
Okay, and then the dog would have been right next to
the dog was in the the dog was in the middle of the property. He wasn't near the owner at all.
Okay, and he was sitting on the grass?
Yes, that's correct. He was lying down on the grass.
Oh, lying down. Okay, and then you indicated the dog came running at your dog?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and what injuries did your dog sustain?
I believe Miss Cross has all the information there. I don't have the pictures with me. Just I
That's
can bring
okay.
up.
We have the photos available.
Okay, so he did require stitches. He required sedation. He required antibiotics. There was, I believe, it was 6 or 8 bites. One of his nipples was half torn off, and there was blood coming down his front leg, and he was limping.
Okay, did you take him to the vet immediately after this?
Yes, I did.
Okay, was he able to walk home, or how did you get him home?
He was limping home.
Okay.
We live on the next street over, so it's about a 1-minute walk.
Okay. And I don't know if you can see this, but there are photos being shown on the screen.
Yes, I can.
Are those photos
that was a
you
major
took?
wound. Pardon me?
Are those photos that you took?
Yes.
Okay, and when were those taken? Do you recall?
The night that he came back from the vet.
Okay. And I'm sorry to ask this question, was there blood visible at the time when the incident occurred?
Yes, there was blood coming down his front leg there.
Okay, and you indicated
From that wound.
From the leg wound that we're
Yes.
looking at? Okay. And you indicated Mr. Grewal came running off the driveway?
Oh no, he didn't come running. We were calling, we were screaming at the dog. It was at least a good minute. Finally, the owner, he came over. He couldn't control his dog at all. He was yelling. He started yelling at his dog. He was grabbing his dog by the neck, but he couldn't control his dog.
Okay, and eventually he was able to get the dog off?
Eventually, the dog ran away to another property, and he grabbed him over there.
Okay. Did you ask to borrow the Mr. Grewal's cell phone to call the police?
No, that I never asked to borrow his cell phone.
Okay. Did you indicate that you wanted to call the police?
I indicated it. I told him that I'd like to get this settled. I'd like, if nothing's wrong, that we can, just settle this with the vet bill. I don't want to have to call anybody to deal with this matter if we can just get it settled.
Okay. And did Mr. Grewal agree to pay the vet bill for you?
Yes, him and his wife were there. His wife came out because she heard all the shouting that we were shouting at his dog, and also him yelling at his dog. So she came out, and instantly they said that they kept apologizing. They were very sorry, and that they would take care of the bill.
Okay. And so then you took Rex to the vet, and then did you have conversation with Mr. and Mrs. Grewal after that?
Yes, we did. So we took Tyson to the vet at approximately 2 p.m. And the doctor was very concerned about that one bite that you showed, the very deep one. So
Yes.
her original estimate was for about 600, she said, but because of that, how deep it was, she wasn't sure how invasive, if it would need more invasive surgery. So she told us it could cost upwards of to about $1,000 or more. Our vet asked us to contact Mr. Grewal because she wanted to know when his last rabies shots were. So we went to Mr. Grewal's house that afternoon while Tyson was under sedation, and we let him know about the estimate that it was up to 600, and it could be more depending on what the vet discovered.
Okay.
And that's when it was me and my wife, and he blew up on us, and he started saying we're robbing him, that this is disgusting, that there's no way he would ever pay such an amount. If it was less, he would have considered, but we're trying to rob him, and that's. So me and my wife actually had to leave because he started yelling at us on the street in front of his house.
Okay. And then has any portion of the vet bill been paid by Mr. Grewal?
No, not at all. He refuses to pay.
And what was your total vet bill for Tyson?
It was $352.74.
And I believe we do have a copy of the vet bill.
And also, while we were at the vet, someone from his house kept calling the vet and was asking for information about myself and my wife, as Miss Cross has as well. She has that information.
Allison, it's Peter. If you could, it'd be helpful if you can refer to a page number in the compendium, and then we can go to that page, please.
Okay, my compendium doesn't actually have
It should be 36 pages in total.
page numbers. It would be under tab 8, but I guess it's...
Allison, did you not receive a copy of the digital compendium from Magda?
I did.
James?
But what I printed out, this is, okay, it's page number 27. Sorry, I'm using a paper copy in order to try and keep track of where I'm going.
Oh, that's the note that attached.
Okay, then the little sticky note at the bottom is what the vet saying that Miss Grewal is anxious to speak with you?
Yeah, they kept calling the vet.
Okay, but she didn't indicate what the reason for them calling was.
No, they due to privacy, they wouldn't tell her our phone number.
Right, okay. Okay, so you paid the $352.74 and you've never received any payment or anything from Mr. or Mrs. Grewal since then?
No, I have not, and I've sent 2 emails. Ms. Cross has sent emails as well regarding the issue.
Okay, how did you obtain their email information?
Through Ms. Cross.
Okay, and how is Tyson doing today?
Physically, he's well. Sometimes when he goes near big dogs, we have to hold him now because he's scared. He'll run behind us now with some of the larger dogs, like German Shepherds and Rottweilers. But physically, he's fine.
Okay, that's good. Have you since seen Rex in the neighborhood since this incident?
Every day.
Okay.
There was a petition actually that was sent around the neighborhood from one of the neighbors. Actually, it wasn't even anything to do with us. As well, we've from 2 of our neighbors that they've also been attacked by. I guess it's Rex. We were told it was Gucci by the owner.
Okay. A petition for what?
About muzzle law for that dog, because it's often found without a leash on front of the property.
And since this incident, have you seen the dog off leash on the property?
I have not seen it off leash personally, no.
Okay, you've just seen it in the neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Is there anything else you wish the tribunal to know about the incident?
I guess the one time when we went back at the end of June, I was speaking to Miss Cross and I went back just to see about paying the invoice to see if it could be covered. And at the time, Mr. Grewal, he started yelling at us, saying that right away that because he wasn't born in Canada, that we're taking advantage of him, that there's no way he should pay, that he has enough money to pay, but he would not pay. He said because we caused great harm to his family by calling the city on his dog, that we should never have called the city, that this should have been taken care of with just, he would have paid it if we didn't call the city.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Rilling. Ms. Grewal and the tribunal members may have some questions for you.
Okay.
Could I ask a question, please?
Madam Chair, you allowing me to ask him a question?
Not yet. Mr. Grewal, you're going to have to wait. The tribunal has the right to first ask questions of the witness because the city case presenter has not finished presenting their case.
Okay, let him present.
Okay?
Thank
you can ask questions, but we have to take turns. So first it's going to be the tribunal.
Okay.
Go on, Beryl.
Yes, could I just ask Mr. Rilling if he's aware that whether this dog has attacked other dogs in the neighborhood, or is this the first incident that he's aware of?
I'm aware of 2 other incidents.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rilling.
Thank you, Ms. Ford.
Marcia, do you have any questions?
No questions, Madam Chair.
I have one question, Mr. Rilling. The petition that you had circulating in the neighborhood, how many signatures did you end up getting?
It wasn't our petition. It was actually one of his neighbors that witnessed the attack, and so he took action. It wasn't anything to do. It's not one of our friends. It's not one of our neighbors.
And do you know if this neighbor particularly has children?
That I could not tell you. I don't know the name.
Or a small dog himself?
He does have a small dog, yes.
I guess the size of the dog is irrelevant. I do apologize.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, that's it. I believe now, Mr. Grewal, you can ask your questions.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Please keep it limited to the evidence that Mr. Rilling has provided.
Okay, the gentleman said that He lives opposite to my street. Does you live opposite to my street?
Is that,
Yes.
how is that relevant to the incident?
In his statement, when he was given his statement and his evidence, he mentioned that he lives opposite to my house.
Yes, that's correct. Mr. Graywell actually walks by our house almost every morning, and he does see us. He has said hi to my wife before.
Sir, you live on Hillside. I live in Lillington. And
Yes, that's the next street.
your house, located from my house, if you go to the proper way, not in the backyards, it takes at least 10 minutes to go to your house.
Sorry, Mr. Graywall, I do apologize. I do apologize for interrupting you, but I still don't see how the relevance of where his domicile is to the incident. People go for walks away from their home. That's what going for a walk entails.
I have no objection.
Unless it's a question with a point, I suggest we move on.
Madam Chair, I have no problem with that, but on the other hand, saying that I live opposite the street, but it takes 10 minutes, I have no objection. People come from even a kilometer to my house. The point is, he is not telling the truth. The second question is, he said,
in his letter, I don't see that he says that he lives opposite. Maybe when he was speaking a figure of speech, so please.
Yes, that's what he's.
Question.
You're right, he said in this is his speech. Anyway, my question is to him. He said when the incident happened, I offered him my phone. He was sending his daughter to get the phone from him to call the police. And I offered him my phone. I said, you don't have to go. Here's my phone. You can call anybody. Yes or no, sir?
I never asked for your phone. If you did offer your phone, I do not remember, but I never asked for your phone. I asked my daughter to go home and get a phone so that we could take pictures and call the city.
You didn't ask, but you were sending your daughter to the home to get a phone. I offered you, handed you my phone. I said, you call the police. Didn't I offer you my phone?
Like I said, you might have offered my phone. I don't.
Asked and answered, Mr. Graywell. He did say he doesn't recall.
Okay.
He said he asked his daughter and he doesn't recall if you did.
Okay, that's fine. Then, sir, when incident happened, you walked to your dog to home. It takes 10 minutes, and dog walked properly home. And I offer you, yes or no, that you take your dog to the vet. Any amount occurred, I will pay for that.
That's correct. You did say that at the time.
Okay, now you came 3 o'clock to my house, not 2, 3, along with your wife, and you asked me to pay $1,500 because
that is not correct.
Hold a second, the dog is at the vet, at financial veterinary hospital. Is it right?
Sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying there.
And you and your wife asked me to pay $1,500 for
yes. But I never asked for $1,500. That's not correct. I told you what the estimate was, that it could be $600 or up to $1,000.
Didn't you say the dog has to stay overnight in the hospital? I have to pay $2,000 more?
That's not correct. I said that it could be $600, and if he does have more invasive surgery, it could be up to $1,000 if he has to stay overnight for surgery. That is correct.
And you remember that I said I will pay reasonable amount, whatever, is it a $500-$600? You said no, you want $1,500.
No, what you told me is that you want to send my dog to your vet because your vet would be cheaper, and that there's no way that it could be up to $1,000.
Sir, I called your financial vet after you left. Somehow, they did not give me any information, but they said, yes, we have a dog here. It's a minor problem. And you were asking $1,500 plus $2,000.
No, that's not correct at all. That's completely made up. And also, you didn't call the vet. It was the woman that called the vet.
No more questions. Thank you.
If I can just interrupt, I know that the appellant is Chairman Grewal, just to confirm, is Mr. Grewal going to be the appellant in calling Ms. Sharon Grewal as a witness, and then I'll be asking him questions and he'll be giving evidence?
I was involved in the incident. That's why I'm here, and I will give my statement when you allow me, Madam Chair. Sharon, yes, came out after. I will bring her a witness after later.
Yeah, yes, he will represent me.
No, I believe the question is, will you be a witness to Mr. Greywall's presentation?
Yes.
When he has the floor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any more questions for Mr. Rilling?
No, thank you.
I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Now the tribunal members have an opportunity to ask questions. Oh, has the city case presenter had an opportunity to present all of their evidence? I don't believe so.
No, I have a second witness to call now.
Oh, okay. The floor is yours.
Okay, if I could call Carrie Cross, the animal control officer.
Hello.
Morning.
Heather, if you can just indicate your position with the city of Brampton.
I am an
Sorry
animal.
to interrupt. Can I swear in the officer, please?
Sorry.
That's okay. Do you wish to be sworn or affirmed?
I swear.
Okay. Can you see the Bible?
Yes.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning.
And how long have you been employed with the city of Brampton?
Approximately 8-9 years.
And the whole time as an animal control officer?
Yes.
Okay. And you investigated the matter that's before the tribunal today?
Yes.
Okay. And if you can just explain to the tribunal your role in the investigation.
Certainly. Brampton Animal Services received a call for a bite investigation involving the dog that resides at 9 Lillington. In order to comply, was issued to 9 Lillington for Rex to be muzzled, and they were provided a witness statement. And I obtained a witness statement from Mr. Rilling and photographs, as well as the invoice from the veterinarian.
Okay, and then did you attend a 9 Lillington?
I did not attend and issue the order. It was another officer that issued the order. Just because of COVID, things were a little, and still are, a little bit challenging.
Okay, can you indicate what the order would have indicated?
The order was for Rex to be muzzled in care and control of somebody over the age of 18, and that's it. We do a standard bite muzzle order for order to complies.
Okay, and did you get in contact with the owner of Rex?
I had made several attempts to contact the dog owner, both by the telephone numbers that we had on file, plus I sent multiple emails.
And did you ever receive a response?
I've received some, but not not as much as I would have liked. There was a lot of miscommunications, which is why I had tried to make so many attempts to speak with her, to go over the designation requirements, and as well as provide my contact information. So she had many questions, which you're now pulling up. I see the email where I was trying to explain to her all of the days that I had contacted her via email, via phone, and I even had the times and the days.
Okay, and at some point you were able to contact her because you received witness statements from her and her spouse, is that correct?
She delivered witness statements to the shelter, so the shelter then provided it to me.
Okay. And would the witness statements have been emailed to her?
They were, so when the order to comply was issued, witness statements were left for her to fill out, or both owners, and they were delivered to the shelter when they completed them.
And are you familiar with this dog at 9 Lillington Street?
I am not. I don't have any history with this particular dog. I just was able to look at our computer or our database to see if there's any previous incidents involving the dog.
Okay, and what did you find?
There had been a couple of incidents involving the dog from back to 2014. But this particular investigation was why obviously the dog was deemed as potentially dangerous due to the damage that was done to the other dog. And it was very unprovoked in nature.
Okay, and so did you go and visit the other dog, Tyson?
I did not know. Due to COVID right now, we were trying to minimize our contact with people. So by pictures and emails and communication through phone, that's basically how our interactions have been.
Okay, and as a result of looking at the photographs, speaking with Mr. Willing, and then you're reviewing the witness statements of the Grewals and Mr. Willing, do you then make the submission to your pound keeper to have the dog designated?
So I collect all of the information, get witness statements from both parties with the medical records from the vet and the receipt and photos, and then I submit that package to the pound keeper, and then he makes the decision whether to deem the dog as potentially dangerous or dangerous.
Okay. Did you ever make any attempts to Mr. and Mr. Grewal to have them pay the vet bill?
There was an email exchange providing them with the receipt so that they had an idea of the actual amount that was paid. And that was about it. And then I believe that Sharon sent me an email back with saying, I can't remember, honestly. There was a lot of emails going back and forth, but it was my understanding that the invoice was not ever paid.
Okay. When you say emails going back and forth, did they appear apologetic, or what was it more just questioning the process, or can you?
No, just questioning the process and why the dog would be deemed as potentially dangerous and things of that nature. And then just questioning previous history that we have had with the dog.
Okay. Okay, those are all my questions then. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Do any of the tribunal members have questions for this witness?
Madam Chair, I have one question.
All right.
Ms. Cross, the owner of Tyson indicated that initially when the attack took place, the dog was called Gucci, and in all documents, the dog is referred to Rex. Can you please just speak to that? Because Mr. Grewal did not deny that that is the dog, but there is that moment where the Tyson's owner did mention that the dog was called by a different name. And I don't see anything in your notes to address that. So can you just speak to that? It looks like there's still consensus that is the dog, but because that was mentioned, can you please speak to that point and clarify that for the tribunal?
We only have a dog, Rex, registered to 9 Lillington, Rottweiler, and hearing this other name is the first I've heard of it up till today. Rex has always been the registered dog for that address.
Okay, thank you.
Just one question to Officer Cross. The incidents that happened in May, I believe, of 2014. It's difficult to read the document on the screen. Was there any charges laid at that time, or was it just a warning?
Let me just triple check here. So in May of 2014, that was a warning only.
Okay, so between date and the current date, reports on this particular dog
I'm sorry, you cut
in the last
out.
6 years?
I'm sorry, can you just repeat that? You cut out there.
I seem to have lost you.
Can you hear me now?
I can now, Tammy, yes. I can hear Ms. Cross now too.
Okay, proceed, Beryl.
My question was, since 2014 to the current incident with Rex, has there been any other issues, complaints, or investigations in the last 6 years?
There was one other incident. The struggle that we'll have is if oftentimes if people have made a call or a concern, if somebody does not want to provide a witness statement, it's hard for us to really follow up. So Mr. Reiling's witness statement and photos was the first time that we were able to get evidence that this had happened. So we have had previous calls, however, they have not resulted in anything.
Okay, but the animal control officers, am I assuming they have visited this property with reference to this dog within the last 6 years, whether it was a report, an inquiry, or just a warning?
It was a warning in 2014, but we have gone back to license the dog in person.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And I have no questions for Ms. Cross. Mr. Graywald, do you have questions for the city's witness? Mr. Graywald?
I don't have a question for the city witness, but I do have one question for the gentleman who presented a statement before. The dog owner.
No, Mr. Riling is done presenting. So if you don't have any questions for this particular witness,
No.
we can carry forward.
No, thank you.
Okay, I have one last witness to call. It would be James Laflamme.
All right, can we have this witness sworn in, please?
I'll affirm, Tammy.
Affirm? Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Okay, and if you can just advise the tribunal your position with the city of Brampton.
Yes, I am the designated pound keeper as assigned by my manager, Kathy Duncan. I just want to clear something up. First, if you review the notice that was sent, the designation letter that was sent, you'll notice that it was signed by my cohort, Amanda Barrett. That was to the fact that I had been working remotely. I did review the file, and it was me that designated, but it wasn't me that signed the designation letter. So I just want to clear that up for everybody before we move forward.
Okay, thank you. And how long have you worked for the city of Brampton?
5 years.
Okay, and if you could just describe why you designated Rex as potentially dangerous.
Sure. As was mentioned, there was a little bit of history back in 2014, but based on what I reviewed, there was no real concern there. It was a warning that was issued. But in this particular case, after reviewing it, I looked at the fact that we had 3 generations walking a family dog down the thank God it was a larger dog, it was a boxer. And another dog come charging, unprovoked, and, didn't even stop and just start barking at the dog, but actually went at the dog and caused several bite wounds. One being rather serious. I have seen much worse, but based on the fact that it was multiple wounds, it kind of concerned me that this dog should be under better control of the owner. Now, under the bylaw, technically the dog could have been designated as a dangerous dog. But after reviewing the case and even a little bit of history, I felt that potentially would better suit the dog and the dog owner. This was the first real situation where we had something semi-serious happen. So I felt that a potentially dangerous designation would better suit.
Okay, and you determined this by looking at
Yes, reviewing the
photographs.
entire file that was in front of us. Again, like I said, if you turn to the photo portion of it, and the vet bill, the vet notes, which is I think just before the vet bill, the vet is concerned about the one, I think it was the right front kind of shoulder leg area. That was the deepest wound that required a couple of stitches. And I know that just with, my history in doing these reviews, that some deep bruising can be caused and some internal damage can be caused by wounds like that. It appears that the whole canine made contact with that particular portion of the wound. All the other wounds were bite marks, but just kind of, I don't know, they weren't really punctures. So again, my concern is multiple bites and one significant bite that occurred on a larger dog. Had this been a smaller dog, it could have been much worse.
Okay, and you indicated that you said it was unprovoked and that the dog never stopped or barked. Would that be typical of a dog?
According to what was submitted by the witness statements, just came flying off barking and attacked. Like there's no, bark, charge, stop, and then continue. It was just bark and go. So like no real warning. It was just bang.
So if the dog is trying to protect its property or its owner, we heard from Mr. Willing that the dog was sitting on its front lawn.
Yes.
What would be the typical behavior then that the dog should have presented?
To be honest with you, I think the dog maybe should become alert and look what's going on and maybe a bark or something like that. But the actual charge, and again, why this happened today, David had said that they walked past the house many times and the dog did come and bark, but didn't do anything other than that. And this time it did, which again is concerning.
Okay, those are all my questions. Thank you, Mr. Laflamme.
Do any of the tribunal members have questions for this witness?
No questions.
No questions. Mr. Graywall, do you have questions for this city witness?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, floor is yours.
I have a question with the gentleman that is that complainant had mentioned that is my dog attacked him or his daughter or his father when this incident happened?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Does my dog attacked the gentleman who was walking with his dog or his daughter or his father?
Did he attack the individuals?
Yeah. Yes.
No.
Thank you.
Dog.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is that all the questions you have, Mr. Graywall?
I had another question to the gentleman that,
No, once again, Mr. Ryland
Okay,
has already
sorry.
presented his evidence. If you have questions for him, they should have been done at that time.
sorry, Madam Chair, no, I have no more question. Thank you.
I believe, Ms. Banting, have you finished with your presenting your case?
Yes, if you have no questions of Mr. LaFlamme, then that is the case for the
No
city of Brampton.
questions.
That's correct.
And I believe my fellow tribunal members also said that they had no questions for this witness.
Okay, yeah, then that's the case for the city of Brampton.
Okay, thank you. The appellant now has an opportunity to, oh, we already did that. Thank you. Now the tribunal member, okay. Sorry, I apologize. I'm trying to scroll through the script I've been given. Okay, we will now move on, and I will now turn the floor over to the appellant to bring its case, including presenting evidence through its witnesses. All right, Mr. Graywall, the floor is yours. You can bring your first witness.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, we need to swear in Mr. Graywall.
Oh, yes, I'm terribly sorry.
Mr. Graywall, do you wish to be affirmed or swear on the Bible?
Either I can swear on the Bible, yes.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, on May 29th, I came home after taking my dog out in a car for a half an hour. As being 75 years old, I do not take my dog walking myself, or my wife, she's also 75, and we are both retired. And I take my dog time to time in a car or an SUV for half an hour drive. Or my son comes home, sometimes in a week or 2 weeks, he takes for a walk because he's strong, he's 30 years old. When I came home around 1 o'clock, I was in my driveway. Our Rex was in the back seat of the SUV. I'm opening the door, I'm trying to put a leash on him before he gets out of the car. Somehow, that gentleman who was walking along with his daughter and the father, his dog, started barking on my dog. Then my dog, before I put the leash, I have a leash in my hand, he jumped from the car. He went to the road and entangled with the dog. I ran right after that. I grabbed him. Yes, they were entangled for maybe a few seconds, 4 or 5 seconds with each other. As we all know, dog runs after a dog. The other dog walked before, my dog jumped on him. We got separated with them. I grabbed my dog, bring to the house, and put him inside. And my wife came right after that. The gentleman was sending his daughter home to get a phone, then he can call the police. And I offered him my phone. I said, here's my phone, I'm really sorry. This thing should not happen, it happened, you can use my phone. Then he mentioned that he's not gonna call the police because police got involved, this thing happened. Then it's fine, let's see what happened to your dog. He said his dog is fine, his dog is walking. He brought backward about 40 feet from there away from the road. We talked very nicely and I apologized and said, sorry, that should not happen. Then he mentioned that he will take his dog to the vet for inspection. I said, I have no problem, and you take it, I take care of that. And dog was walking fine. He said that there's nothing, no blood coming, nothing, no evidence of anything. But I did agree to pay for the vet's inspection. Anyway, he went home very nicely. The meeting ended very civilized way. And suddenly he came back 3 o'clock with his wife and knocked our door. I opened the door. He demanded $1,500 that his dog is going through the surgery. I did ask what kind of surgery. He didn't reply anything. And he mentioned stitches also. Yes, I said, look, I will pay a reasonable amount. I have a dog from the 20 years before. We have a dog from 98 to 13. This dog we have from 13 to 7 years old. And he got a little upset. Then he was saying, the dog's going to stay overnight at the hospital. You have to pay $2,000 more. And he demanded cash, $1,500 right away. I refused. I said, $1,500 too much, and I can call the vet and I can pay there whatever the reasonable amount is. Tell me where the dog is. He didn't give me the address. So finally, he somehow came with most as a financial bet. And they left, and I called the vet. They said, we won't tell you anything. Dog is fine, and he's got to go home. And I was shocked to hear that. He was saying the dog got to stay overnight at the hospital. He said they are going home. That's where the things end up. And then I think he called the city or the police, and I came to know when we got the letter from the city of Brampton. This dog we have for the 7 years, we lived there from the 39 years I live on the street. I semi-custom built the house. It's a big house, 80-foot front, 50-foot city owns the next door. And our yard is fenced for the racks, 80-foot by 50-foot. There's a fence around all in the back 5 feet high. And both sides, the signs are posted. Beware of dog. I have presented the pictures if you look at that. And the city owns the 50 feet between my house and the east side. That 50 feet is a drainage for the subdivision. It goes back to the hillside, back of my house. And there's another houses behind my house, is the row which faces the hillside. The gentleman lived on the hillside on the 60-some number. I never seen him before, and I only seen him after a couple of times I mentioned that. And my dog has not attacked him, his father, and his daughter. His daughter, I believe, was 10, 12 years old, and he just entangled with the dog. I don't deny that. And we all know that dogs bark each other. We know that. And I don't deny that happened. It's unfortunately it happened. And our dog is there. He never bitten before anybody. He's very friendly. And anytime any kids go by, he doesn't even bark at the kids. And it's a responsible dog. And we have grandchildren, and we have a lot of friends. They come around. He plays with them. I never seen my dog barking any guest came to our house. Yes, in the backyard when we are letting him go, somebody goes by in the walkway, which is 50 feet owned by the city to the back of our property, the other house. He barks at those people sometimes, yes. I think that's his job. He's fully locked in that 5 feet high fence in the back. And we don't take him without leash anywhere. First of all, I don't even take him in myself now. I just take him in the car, leash, with a chain of a stainless steel chain leash, we have it. And he's very obedient. He listened to us. And my wife came also when the gentleman was there, and when I put the dog inside the house, and we She also talked to him. They were very polite. I don't know what happened after that, why he turned around after that such a way that money $1,500 and $2,000. And now, when my dog did not attack them, how come my dog can be a dangerous dog? If my dog has bitten his daughter, bitten him or his father, I wouldn't be here. The dog is very nice. We have three children, and this dog is to me and my wife more than even children. He doesn't bitten anybody so far. So declaring this kind of dog is a dangerous dog is not fair. Yes, I don't deny to pay whatever the bill is, I will pay it. But he should set that $352 to start with, not $1,500. I work all my life at the government on a very nice management job. My wife is well educated. I'm well educated in Canada and India. And I worked with the government Ministry of Finance 28 years. We are civilized. I understand that. That should not happen. It happened, unfortunately. But we are very responsible, myself and my wife. We live in the same subdivision for 41 years. 2 years we live in the next street, Linton. We moved into this house in 1983. We built the house. And I am really, really shocked to see, even from the city officials, yes, warning is good. I respect the warning, and yes, we have to obey the rules of the city bylaws. But declaring a dog dangerous is not fair. And I submit this statement to you, Madam Chair. If you have any questions, I gladly answer those questions.
Thank you. The city case presenter now has an opportunity to ask questions of the appellant.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Grewal.
Yes.
Okay, so you indicated, I believe you indicated that you take the dog in the car. You don't walk it, you take it for drives. Is that correct?
Come again one more time.
You take the dog in your car with you as opposed to taking it for walks?
Sometimes, yes. I think he should, I take the dog when I go out. From door to the car, I have a leash, stainless chain. He goes in there. I take the leash out when he goes in the car.
Okay, and does the dog also have a collar?
Yes.
Okay, so you heard Mr. Rilling indicate that the dog was sitting on the front lawn with no leash and no collar.
I am shocked to hear that.
Okay, so is it your submission then that you attached the leash to the collar that was on the dog?
The dog was in the car. When he jumped out from the car, I was trying to put the leash because the dog on the street, the gentleman is walking his dog, he started barking. They smell pretty fast, the dogs. That's my dog pushed me, and he's pretty strong, and it ran away. Yes.
Okay, so you don't attach the leash to the dog inside the car. You opened the door
I had
and went around to the dog?
Sorry, I have a leash in my hand. I'm putting a leash on him. It happened so fast, and as soon as he ran, I ran out right after that. My dog was not sitting in the front lawn with those leash. No. Sorry.
Okay, so your dog was in the back seat. You got out of your car and opened the back seat door, and the dog ran out?
I was trying to put the leash. He heard the barking of the dog. Mm-hmm. He got out of the car, ran there, and within a few seconds, I was after him, only maybe 20 feet away. Okay. So I grabbed him.
Okay, where did the incident happen? Was it on your side of the street or the opposite side of the street?
Right in the middle of the street.
In the middle. Okay. So you heard Mr. Rilling indicate that he moved from your side when he saw the dog and he went to the other side. Would that be correct?
I don't know what other side he's talking. He was walking on the road with his son, with his daughter and his father, and the dog middle of the road.
Okay.
And I was in my driveway when we got out, my dog got out of the car.
Okay. And you didn't see any blood or the dog limping away?
No. His
Okay.
dog wasn't limping, his dog was walking fine.
Okay. And you indicated you have beware of dog signs on your property. Why do you have that?
Come again, madam?
Why do you have beware of dog signs on your property?
I have on the side and the front.
Why is that?
This is because most people have the dog, then just a warning for the people coming, whoever comes, there's the dog here.
Okay, so have you ever had any incidents before with Rex and other dogs?
No, these signs are from even since we built the house. We have other dogs before.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I'm just wondering has your dog had any other incidents with other dogs?
No, not at all.
Okay, did you hear from the animal control officer that there was an incident in 2014 and a warning letter was sent out?
I'm not aware of that. What incident they are mentioning that? I never heard of that. Any incident with any dog.
Okay.
There was a incident. There's one time, if I recall, there was a gentleman moved down our street. He saw my little other dog was barking on our front driveway. It was a Yorkie, little Yorkie. That's all I can remember.
Okay. Did you or your wife receive the email from Ms. Cross about the amount of the bill of $352 in June?
My wife dealt with the Cross. Yes.
Okay, but you've made no attempt to pay that amount of the bill?
No, I didn't see that. No, they sent an email, Jess. I have no difficulty to pay, as I mentioned to him before. When he came on 29th to my house with his wife around 3:30, I mentioned I will pay up to $500-600, yes. But he was demanding $1,500. I said, no, sorry.
No, and I can understand that, but when you received the vet bill that it was just over $352, what attempts have you made to pay that bill?
I'm sorry. I have no difficulty to pay that. Even if he wants to pay me now, I will pay, but because he never showed me before. He only sent an email. That time everything was in the hands of the city, so we didn't pay it.
Right.
I have no difficulty to pay if you want me to pay.
Okay, but it's now October, sir. The email was sent to you in June requesting payment.
Well, I was a little bit upset. He was blackmailing me.
Okay. So you've indicated that you don't feel the dog is dangerous because it hadn't bit a person. It didn't bite Mr. Rilling, his daughter, or his father. It bit their dog.
I didn't see that anything there at that time. Yes, the dog's entangled for a couple of minutes, few seconds, which I separated them, and my dog has not gone near the gentleman or a daughter or his father.
Right, so you don't feel it's fair that it's designated potentially dangerous because it didn't attack people, it attacked a dog.
Yes,
that's fair to say?
That's exactly what I'm saying. If my dog has attacked one of them, I would have no difficulty to accept what you're saying. But the dog's with us for 7 years. He has never bitten anybody. He's never attacked anybody. And sorry, this thing happened. It should not happen in one incident. Now we are more strict with him than before.
Okay, so that was going to be my next question. What have you done after this incident in order to prevent this from happening again?
What I did, now when we take him out, and I take him out, I make sure, first of all, I go outside before I see anybody on the street, any dog on the street, then I don't take him until they go away. I wait 5-10 minutes. Then I bring him in, put in the car, then we go away. The same way, now when we come back, I don't take him out until I see everything's clear on the street or anybody walking I see there. Then I wait till they go away, then I bring him in.
Okay, so you just open your front door and allow him to walk to the car?
Say that again, please.
Do you just open your front door and allow him to walk with you to the car?
No. I hold him in the leash, then I bring him in. I open the door before, I'll open the lock, I go there before, open the lock,
Okay.
then I go back, see everything clear, then I bring back to the house.
Okay. Can I just ask how big is this dog?
I didn't get that.
How big is your dog? How many pounds is he?
How big?
Yes.
I think I do have a picture there. It's a
So
good-
through you, Madam Chair,
It's a
it's
good size,
Peter.
about 80 pounds. It's a good size.
Sorry,
Rottweiler.
80?
Rottweiler. It goes to up my knees, high.
Okay.
Sorry, through you, Madam Chair, it's Peter. So we do have some pictures that have been provided, but I didn't hear the appellant say he wanted to show them. So
Yeah,
I do have them here and I can show them.
Okay, if you could please put them on.
So thank you very much, gentlemen, to reminding me that. I brought the pictures. You can see from the picture how lovely dog is playing with the kids, my grandkids, and some of the friends.
All right, Mr. Graywall, let the pictures be presented first.
Okay, this picture is going to the backyard. The door is there on the west side of my property. It's locked there. It's a door with a chain lock. It doesn't open. The key we have inside of the house. Nobody can open that unless we open it.
Through you, Madam Chair, may I suggest that the appellant enter this as Exhibit 1?
Yes.
As well, Ms. Banting, you may want to enter your compendium as Exhibit 2.
Yes, sorry if I could do that. My apologies.
This letter came on the left side. This lady is a friend of my wife. She visits time to time. She lives in Windsor.
Mr. Graywall, can we just wait to see for the pictures to switch as well? Because the tribunal doesn't have access to the pictures.
Okay.
Do you want to describe these pictures, Mr. Graywall?
On the left side is the front of my house. It sits on an 80-foot front lot. The house back there, and the lawn is in the front. And the right side picture is a walkway or a over drainage purpose. City owns that 50 feet front, and all the way to the end of my house, from end of the back house to the other street, 50 feet. That goes walk. Sometimes people walk there. Very few.
Okay.
Yeah. This is, should I describe?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Graywall. And when you're ready for the pictures to be
Right side picture,
changed.
and the right side picture in front of our den or office. The chairs is in the front, and that sign on the window that beware of dog. And the left side sign is on the backyard. When we go from the city's 50 feet walkway to the back, that sign says on the back that people walking there, they should see that there's a dog here. This goes from back of my house to the other side, which is called hillside in the front. This gentleman lives, when you go from the sign to the further, maybe 200 feet, then you go another 500 feet, that's where he lives. What generally people walk the road, Lincoln, Heath, and Hillside, it takes maybe 15 minutes to go to his house. Okay. On the right side, ready? Right, the first right side was the dog was watching TV, sitting on the sofa. Now he's watching television, sitting on the family room on the carpet. On the right side, this lady visited us from our back home village. and he's sitting with him in front of the house. Here's my grandkids. They are playing with him inside the house on the right side. On the left side, they are sitting in the stairs, which goes to the backyard where Rex play during the day when he wants to go out. That room is 80 by 50 for him, fenced all in the back of the house. On the right side, again, my granddaughter, and the little ones in the behind the granddaughter. And the left side, my son Nicholas, he plays with him also. This is the lady who lives on Hillside Street. Whenever she visits with us, it comes over, is a family friend. Here the dog sits with her. And in the left side, the young lady lives in the neighborhood. Her daughter comes over, she plays with him. You can see the dog is tied up with the chain inside the door with the leash and the chain and behind that. This is again my grandkids, my daughter sitting on the left, playing with him. On the right side, my wife, he's very close to her. And the left, the lady visited us from, as I described the letter, Barbara, my wife's friend. She comes from Windsor, and Rex, always very friendly with her. Whoever comes to our house, Rex does not bark at them or bite them.
Those are all the pictures.
That's all. If I have any questions, and I'm ready to answer any questions.
I believe the city case presenter, if you have any questions with regarding this exhibit, you have an opportunity to ask your questions.
Okay, thank you. I just have a question to Mr. Grewal. If your dog interacts with other dogs, I see a number of pictures with children and family members. Does the dog interact with other dogs?
We don't have anybody, like our friend has a dog that we can take him there, no. And generally my son comes home, he takes to the dog park where is located at that Williams Parkway and 410 Highway. There's a park for the dogs, my son takes him there.
Okay, those are all my questions then, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now the tribunal members have an opportunity to ask questions of the appellant and or witnesses. Mr. Grewal, you didn't present any witnesses, did you? Not yet?
A witness, my wife can say whatever I said that, and I don't think there's any.
Okay, well, let's, I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to have the tribunal ask questions to you first. Okay, I'm going to ask each member if they have questions for Mr. Grewal in the following order. Member Marsha Malcolm, Member Beryl Ford, and then myself. Member Malcolm, do you have any questions for the appellant or witness?
No questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member Ford, do you have any questions for the appellant or witnesses?
Yes, Mr. Grewal, just to clarify, you did offer to pay for the vet. You're aware of the cost now, and if I understood what you said, you are still prepared to pay that vet bill? Am I right?
Yes, I will pay that.
Okay, thank you. Just to clarify, do you ever, or your son or your wife, or one of your family, take Rex walking in the neighborhood? Do you take him always on a leash? Is he ever without a leash?
I used to take him for around the block, around. We go from our Langton to back of the Laura Crest to go to the bushes, the heath, and then come back hillside. I used to take him almost every day. Now, for the last 2-3 years, I have a little problem with my knees. I stopped taking him walking. Neither my wife takes him for a walk, not me. When my son comes home, he takes him for a walk, yes.
And is he always leashed?
Always leashed.
Okay. To clarify, your property is fenced all the way around, a 5-foot fence with a locked gate?
Yes, madam. My property in the back is 80 foot wide and 50 foot back from the house. It's all fenced.
And you have dog signs, beware of the dog?
I have a dog signs and a lock on the gate.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Grable, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Ford. Thank you. It's now my opportunity for questions. I do have some, but bear with me. I'm a little disorganized, and I do apologize. Do you recall if you called your dog to heel or to stop running towards Mr. Riley and his dog and his family?
When the accident happened?
Yeah, so on May 29th, do you recall giving an order or a command to Rex for him to stop running towards the other party?
Yes, I did, and I grabbed him. And it took so fast. It takes only not more than 5 seconds, the whole thing. I grabbed.
So you said it takes about 15 minutes to walk.
No, not 15 minutes to walk to his house from our house. But
okay, and then
when go ahead.
Okay, continue.
When the incident took place, I was in my driveway, and the gentleman, his father, and his daughter was walking on the road just in front of our driveway. That's where the incident happened. I grabbed my dog within 5 seconds, but it takes from my home front to go to his house by road.
Okay, so that was for the house, from house to house.
Yeah, 15 minutes, yeah.
Okay. So you did give a command for the dog to stop?
Yes.
And Rex did not?
He was entangled, then I said, stop. And I grabbed him right away. It was only 25 feet away from me when we grabbed him.
But so he did not, so I'm sorry if I'm not getting to the point, but you claimed your dog Rex is very obedient, but he did not stop.
He did stop.
You gave a command.
He did stop, yes.
No, you stated you had to grab him.
Okay, I tell him stop, but he's still there. I grabbed him then. They were separated when I said stop. Then I grabbed him from the collar of the neck. There's a collar on his neck. Then I said, let's go home. Then he ran home. He ran home right away. Then I came after him, opened the door, put him inside. Then I came back, talked to the gentleman.
And you stated that yourself and your wife are both 75, and it's difficult for you both to take him for walks?
Look, okay, it's difficult because my wife has a knee surgery and she has a hip surgery.
Okay.
And I had a back surgery in 2014.
No, I understand, but my question is it difficult for you and your wife to take Rex on walks?
Yes, it is. We don't take him back, no.
Okay. And so your son, who comes and I guess takes Rex on walks, how often does he take Rex on walks?
Oh, he comes about once a week, sometimes twice a week. He lives in Oakville, and then he takes him for a walk. He takes him to the dog park also. We never heard that he entangled with any other dog at the park.
So if your son comes once a week, sorry, Mr. Graywall, if your son comes once a week to walk your dog, 6 other days of the week, Rex is not going on walks.
Oh, Rex walks too much in the back, run around too much in the backyard, which is a big place for him, 80 by 50. He runs around there. You won't believe he play by himself. We play with him in the ball. We throw the ball, he go pick up the ball, he gives the ball to us, then he takes the ball again. He plays there. We play with him in the back. On the back.
But my question is, for 6 days of the week, Rex does not go on a walk.
Rex go twice a week when our son comes.
Okay, so you just answered once a week and now it's twice a week.
No, no.
Is it once or twice a week?
I said sometime he comes once, sometime twice. Now my daughter's home today, and then like she takes for something, but she doesn't take much. My son takes him more than my daughter. But he goes for a walk when my son comes, yes.
So where did you return from when you had Rex in the car? Where were you coming back from?
I came back from, I believe, went for shopping, grocery. When I take him with him, then I leave in the parking lot, leave the windows open 2 inch each side and the back side, that's it. For the breathing, then we come back home and then I take him first, then I take the stuff after from there.
So when you opened the door, you didn't think of putting the leash on him before you opened the door?
When
Like
I
the driver's seat?
When I open the door in the back, I have a leash in my hand. I'm putting leash before he gets out.
Because I recall the testimony you gave, the evidence you gave was that it's difficult for you to control him due to the fact that you're 75 on walks. So would it not be prudent of you to ensure that he has his leash on before opening the door to give you that extra lead, that extra control over a dog if he does not have a leash on?
Okay, when we come home, I do open the door, then used to put a leash on him. That day, when the other dogs only 25 feet away, he barked that he maybe smelled them. We are here, opened the door. My dog got a little irritated. He jumped out of the car before I put the leash.
I'm sorry, but you weren't standing in front of the dog when you opened the car door to put on that leash? Or did you open the door and left the area open for him to jump out?
I am standing in front of the seat, the door is open, put in a leash. But now, since that day, I don't even take his leash off. You just leave the leash on him. That's the change I made.
Thank you. Thank you. I think member four might have another question.
Okay.
Member Ford?
No, thank you.
I thought I saw your hand.
No, Mr. Greywall did answer all the questions I had. Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, before we move on, Mr. Greywall, do you want to call your wife as a witness?
Well, if she wants to say something, it's her wish, then I think I said enough. You can ask her.
All right, Ms. Sharon Greywall, do you have anything that you'd like to say?
Hello.
Hello? Is there anything that you would like to say, yes or no?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay, could we have this witness sworn in, please?
Yes. Ms. Greywall, would you like to be sworn in with the Bible or affirmed?
My Bible is fine.
Can you see the Bible, ma'am?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Ms. Greywall, the floor is yours.
Yes. Okay. The day this incident happened, when my husband brought the dog inside, and he said there is a problem. So I rushed out, and they were standing at the end of our driveway on my side. And there were two men I saw standing and my husband standing. I went there. I said, what happened? They said, your dog attacked our dog. I said, I'm so sorry. I said, is he okay? They said, yes, he is okay though. I didn't see any blood. I went close to that dog, looked around, and they were very calm at that point. The dog was not going behind their legs or anything. The dog was standing fine there. But I apologized a few times. I said, very, very sorry. This should not happen. How it happened, right? So after that, I don't know what happened after my husband told. I came home. My daughter was visiting, came to pick up my grandchildren. So I came back home. So what happened, my husband told, like they, from there, he offered them phone, and I won't repeat all that. That's the only thing about that incident I can tell you that. My dog is so obedient. If somebody comes, people, for example, they come. When somebody he saw before, he will smell their shoes, they will smell. And that person, I keep a treat by the front door in the closet. They give him treat. And he's very happy with that. In case if somebody new come for maintenance, I have to tell him that he's coming to repair something. Gucci, he's doing something. I call him Gucci. I say, he's doing something. Since he is 7-year-old, many people came in the house to repair a fridge, repair a dishwasher, or a washing machine. Many, many people came. Never had incident with anybody. Not a single soul. In 2014, he was just not even 1 year old. My two friends came, they opened the door. He was a baby. He slipped out of the door. Same time, there was a young girl passing by, came from school. And Rottweilers are big in size, even when they are babies. So he ran, my friend ran after him, Gucci, 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 right? So the girl gets scared. That time they called the Humane Society, and they gave us the warning, and they checked the witness. My two friends were here. He never went down our driveway, went to the road. So we caught him. After that, nothing ever happened, ever. Now, sad part is these people, we have a respect here in this neighborhood. My husband is a professional. I am also. My daughter is also. And they going door to door, bad mouthing about us. They make a letter, this and that, like talking to people. They're telling us what they're telling them. And we feel very, very bad about it. We offered them, my husband offered them, whatever the money you need. Even I called the Humane Society, where they took to the dog to the doctor. I called them. And I that day, even me and my daughter, I didn't know how their car looked like. So I even told my husband. He said, well, they were asking this and this. I said, just give them. We want a peace. We don't want an argument. Me and my daughter went 3 streets. I didn't know where they were living. We couldn't find them. I said, let's give them money and forget about it. Like, this incident happened, it's bad, and we don't want to deal with it after, right? So we couldn't find them, right? This was the experience with this incident with the other people. I have a bad experience with the Humane Society. I call them or email them, and week after, I was on a vacation. I just came back on Monday, right? So I don't know how the system is, what they are supposed to do. They are doing it. They must be doing it. Why the guidelines are not okay? Nobody ever came to my house to visit my dog. Okay, is it dangerous dog? Come and see if he is bad with you, how he treats you. Come and see, right? The lady came to give us some kind of sign and deliver this letter. And I told her, I said, do you want to see my dog? Right? He was in the window. My dog was in the, I said, do you want to see my dog? She said, no. I said, fine. So I think that's very unprofessional. Okay, somebody did not even know my dog and declaring it, oh, he's a dangerous dog. For what reason? For what point? I just, they went to people to sign. I will sign for that, whatever the letter was too. Yes, we want all the dogs walk with a leash. And that's what it is, was written in the letter. People don't have time to read 2 pages on the door. They are saying, oh, we want everybody, dog has to be leashed when you take for walk. If somebody comes to me and they say, the lady comes, okay, here is papers and we want you to sign it. Okay, we want every dog has to be leashed. I will sign it. People did sign it. 30 people signed it. And they are telling the bad, this and that kind of stuff, like that. This is nonsense. I did not like it. Their behavior. Okay, we are willing to pay. We have no problem paying it, but misbehaving is not right. Okay, pay us $1,500 and then it could go 2,000 more. I think that was not very reasonable offer from them. And we apologize that this dog attacked. He never attacked to anybody or any dog or any person. Even anybody comes. That's all I want to say. If you have any question, I will answer.
Thank you. The city case presenter has an opportunity to ask questions of this witness.
Good morning, Ms. Grewal.
Good morning.
So you can clarify then. So your dog is named Rex, but you call it Gucci?
Yes, I do call it Gucci.
Okay. And does it respond to both Rex and Gucci?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the people who call him Rex, they don't call him Gucci. My husband call him Rex, I call him Gucci.
So if he, for the incident that occurred, if you called him Gucci, would he have stopped, do you think?
Yes, yes.
But your husband calls him Rex.
Yeah, he would stop by Rex too.
Okay.
Yeah, because his name from since his birth, both names, he knows 2 languages.
Okay.
You
heard Mr. Rilling indicate that he was not the author of the petition that was going around. Did you hear that? That was people in your neighborhood. That was not Mr. Rilling that did that petition.
Correct. Yeah.
Can you prove that?
I don't know whose. I don't have any paper in front of me because my husband took the file with him.
Okay.
I cannot say who did this. I think they did it.
Okay. Well, he indicated
the people, they went to my next door neighbor too, and next to next, both sides of the neighbors, they told me all what they were telling them.
Okay. Now,
yeah,
you received an email with the bill for the vet bill?
Yes, I did, and I did not pay it because I talked to the lawyer, and they said if you are filing for appeal, don't pay it. See what happens.
Okay, so you took legal advice and decided not to pay it.
Yes, it was a legal advice.
Okay.
I believe they went to door because my next door neighbor, both sides, they said it. They described how these were, but unfortunately, I don't have any paper in front of me.
Okay. I don't think I have any further questions then. Thank you.
All right, now I'm going to ask the tribunal members if they have any questions. Member Malcolm, do you have any questions for the witness?
No questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member Ford, do you have any questions for this witness?
No, thank you. I have no questions.
I also don't have any questions. Okay, so I believe we're in submissions at this point. So thank you, everybody. We are now at the point of closing submissions. The city case presenter will proceed first. Followed by the appellant. I will now turn the floor over to the city case presenter for closing submissions.
Okay, thank you. The city is asking that the potentially dangerous dog designation be upheld. Definition of a potentially dangerous dog means any individual dog that chases or approaches any person or domestic animal in a menacing fashion or apparent attitude of attack, including but not limited to behavior such as growling or snarling, We heard from Mr. Rilling, who was walking his dog on the same side of the street as Rex. When he observed Rex on his front lawn without a leash on, he attempted to move to the other side of the street where Rex came off his property, and without warning, began to attack Tyson, and Tyson sustained numerous bite marks. One that was quite deep, required vet attention and suturing, etc. We then heard from Terry Cross, who investigated the matter and then put the package together before the pound keeper, Mr. Laflamme, who indicated this attack appeared to be unprovoked, that the dog gave Tyson serious bite wounds and a number of other bite marks. He indicated that he could have designated the dog dangerous, but he instead chose to go potentially dangerous in hopes that the Grewals would have better control of their dog. Mr. and Mrs. Grewal are both, I believe, 75 years old. They're handling a 7-year-old, 80-pound Rottweiler that they are unable to walk, and the dog is currently being walked 1 to 2 times a week by their son. It doesn't appear that the dog has much interaction with other dogs. While it is friendly with their family members, it doesn't appear that there's much interaction with other dogs. And Mr. Grewal was quite concerned that the dog not be designated because it didn't attack humans, it only attacked the dog. But again, listening to Mr. Laflamme, his testimony was that there was no real warning, that he didn't give an alert. Instead, he just charged at Tyson walking by, and that was a concern to the city. So for all those reasons, we're asking that the potentially dangerous dog designation be upheld. Thank you.
Thank you. I now turn the floor over to the appellant for closing submissions. Mr. Greywall, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Madam Chair and the members of the committee, we live in that house for the last 38 years. We had a dog before Yorkie from 1996, 8, and all that till 13. And now we have this Rex and called Gucci both for the last 7 years. Now, he's there since he's born with us, and he is trained properly, is obedient. He has not bitten anybody before, either a person or a dog. Unfortunately, this incident took place, and we have taken more serious approach with him than before. My dog did not attack the gentleman or his 10-year-old daughter or his father when they were right beside them. Their dog provoked our Rex Gucci start working. And this is the nature of the dogs. When one dog works, the other jumps on. And it should not happen. It happened. But that does not mean the Rex is a dangerous dog. Mostly in our street, in the neighborhood, if not every house, almost every second or third house have a dog. They are going by there every day, walking by. Nothing happened to anybody. Why this thing happened, I can't answer that. Somehow it's God's will that happened. And we assure you, we will do the best we can to keep the neighborhood safe. There is young kids. Nobody has called the city that our dog went after dogs and the kids and all that, or anybody else. And my submission is, our dog is not a potential danger dog. He is a very obedient family dog. He loves children, he loves us, he loves everybody. Maybe not the dogs. And I request to you to consider this matter seriously, and in the first incident, in one incident in 7 years, to declaring a Rex dangerous dog is not fair. And I will take care of the expenses, whatever the other dog occurred. And thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. This hearing is now complete and the matter is now adjourned. After the additional hearing matters today, the tribunal will retire to make its decision on this matter. The decision of the tribunal will be provided to the appellant and other interested parties generally within 15 days of today's hearing date. The decision of the tribunal is final and binding, but may be subjected to judicial review in certain circumstances. We'll now proceed to our next hearing on today's agenda.
Madam Chair, is it possible to ask for a quick 5-minute break?
Yes, please. I was just going to ask if we could all, if everyone is in agreement, could we please take 5 minutes?
Thank you. That'd be great.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll hold the second matter down for 5-6 minutes.
Great. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Andrew and Erwin, I'm going to bring you into this second hearing as panelists. So you are now in the session, and once we reconvene, we will proceed with your matter. And I've just sent to you and to the members of the tribunal the compendium of information. And while we're waiting, for the benefit of those other interested parties that are participating in hearing number 3, which was scheduled for 9 o'clock, the tribunal is running a little bit behind because of the length of the first hearing. So we will be proceeding first with hearing number 2, which was scheduled for 10 o'clock. So I won't be able to give you a definitive time when we will get to the scheduled 11 o'clock hearing, but the tribunal is moving as expeditiously as possible.
I'm back, Peter, if everybody else is now.
Okay.
I'm also back as well.
Hi, Allison, are you there?
I am, yes.
Allison, who will you be calling for hearing 2? Is it just James Spison?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And James is in the session right now. James, can we just test your microphone, please? You can just hit unmute. There you go. Can you just say something so we can hear your audio, please?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. And Andrew, who I think is representing the appellant, can we just test your microphone, please?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, perfectly. Will you be calling Erwin as a witness? Should I test his microphone?
You can test his microphone. I did, however, have to address the Madam Chair and members of the board really briefly. I've been in contact with Mr. Erwin Little, and we are still in the process of gathering some final supporting documents and video evidence that will be crucial to this case. I'm wondering, is there any way that we can adjourn this matter so that we can finalize all the documents and videos to present?
That will be up to the tribunal once they reconvene. So we haven't reconvened yet, but we're waiting for the tribunal to resume, and then that could be a matter presumably addressed with the tribunal.
Sure. I guess in the meantime, we can test Erwin's microphone.
Certainly. Erwin, can you just say something so we can test your mic, please?
Good morning. Good morning.
Yep, good morning. Loud and clear. Thank you. I'll just put you back on mute, Erwin.
Thank you.
Is everyone here ready to go for the second hearing, or should we hold down for a little longer?
No, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Madam Chair, we'll just confirm that Marcia is back. So
okay.
we have quorum.
I'm back.
Okay. So, Madam Chair, you can proceed, and you may have heard that the agent for the next appellant wishes to address the tribunal on a matter.
Okay.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Andrew Gerges. I'm counsel for Mr. Irwin Little, who is also on the call as well. It's come to my attention that there are still several outstanding supporting documents, reference letters, employment letters, as well as, more importantly, surveillance videos that were captured of one of the incidents that puts Mr. Irwin Little's license into question. We're still in the process of gathering those materials, and that's something that I would certainly be presenting to the members of the board for your consideration. Given all of that, I don't think we're going to be in a position to proceed today with the hearing, and I would ask the members of the board for an adjournment to the earliest possible date, but certainly not today.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to ask my the other tribunal members if they have an issue with this. Member Malcolm. Sorry, before I start, the city case presenter, are you prepared for today? And are your witnesses present today as well?
We are prepared today. I am just calling one witness, James Beathon, the manager of licensing.
Okay.
He would be the only witness, so I'll leave it in your hands.
No civilian witnesses.
No, that's correct. None.
Okay. Member Malcolm, do you have an issue with adjourning today's our second matter for today to a later date?
No objections, Madam Chair.
Okay. And Member Ford, do you have an issue with adjourning today's second matter for a later date? Member Ford?
Based on the reasons for the request, I have no objection to the request.
Thank you. I also don't have any objections. I think it's wise that we do adjourn the matter to ensure that the appellant is given a fair opportunity to present his case.
Madam Chair, are you okay if the city clerk's office determines a future date later, or did you want to agree upon a date today?
I guess since we have the three members, the agent and the city all present right now, I think it'd probably be wise to select a date that works with everyone. And if the other tribunal members are able to attend that day, that would be great. That way we can at least ensure quorum.
Okay, so at this point, it looks like we have some matters that are scheduled up until December. So we're looking at the first availability would be January. Sorry, I'm just looking at the calendar. It would be January, I believe, the 11th. However, the meeting dates have not been approved by council, so that is tentative. January the 11th, if I cannot schedule the matter for December.
And if we were looking at December, yes. What potential date would it be, as I am unavailable the last 2 weeks of December?
December 14th.
I will not be able to attend if that's the date.
Okay,
but maybe with the other tribunal members it may work.
Yes,
Sorry, Beryl, you're not coming through. Beryl, your microphone is mute.
Yes, I'm available on the 14th, if necessary, and I would be available in January.
Through you, Madam Member Malcolm.
I'm also available for both dates.
I am available only for the January date. What about the appellant? Yeah, his agent.
We're available both dates.
Okay, so if there's a mutual consensus for December or January, please hold those in your calendar. At this time, I can't confirm the December because I do have to process a couple more appeals that we have received and ensure that there is a spot available. And if not, it will be for January.
Okay, wonderful. So I'll put January in as tentative in my calendar then.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess that's all our matters for today. Oh, no, we have, is that it? We have another hearing?
You do have your 11 o'clock
11.
hearing,
Yes,
which
at
is
11.
Harvin Sangha.
Harvin Sangha, yes.
And then you do have 2 pieces of correspondence for consideration during deliberation.
Okay.
Let me confirm with Peter. Peter, do we have Harvin Sangha in the queue at all? I don't see him.
Through you, Madam Chair, I do see a call-in user. I'm just going to unmute this user and just, I've just unmuted the call-in user. Is this Harvin Sangha? The person who's called in today, can you just?
I've called in. It's Tara Alonso, the witness.
Okay, Tara, I do see you. It called in on your computer as well. So, okay, I'm going to put you back on mute. Okay, just a moment, please. So, Madam Chair, I do not see Harvin Sangha on the session for today.
And his hearing was to commence at 11 o'clock, was it not?
That's correct.
Should we hold it down maybe another 10 minutes?
Through you, Madam Chair, perhaps. And I know, Tammy, do you have a phone number we can reach out to this person?
Yeah, I believe so. I just have to pull that up in our chart and I can reach out to them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so it is 11:11, and we'll hold it down till 11:20.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Madam Chair. Natalie?
I'm present, Tammy.
Perfect. I just wanted to make you aware, but I was hoping that all the members would be back, so I'll wait a moment and give you an update.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Madam Chair, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Sorry, I'm terribly sorry.
That's okay. I have spoken to someone in the appellant's household who's advised that the appellant is currently in training and that they were going to call him and ask him to log on to the meeting for his case to be heard.
Okay, and did they give you an anticipated time or no?
They were unable to. He was not home. So the decision is up to you whether you wish to give him a few more minutes to log on or start the proceeding.
I think we should wait another 2-3 minutes and what say you, the rest of the tribunal? Member Malcolm, Member Ford?
Well, he was scheduled for 11 o'clock. It is now almost 20 after 11. So
Right.
I think giving him 5 minutes is reasonable.
Right.
I agree with Member Ford.
Okay, and I concur. So I think we should wait till at least 11:25.
Right.
Madam Chair?
Madam, sorry about that. Yes.
That's okay. It's now 11:26. You may proceed.
Okay. Our first hearing is to consider an appeal under Section 28 of the Dog Bylaw 250/2005 as amended of the Corporation of the City of Brampton by Harvin Sangha regarding the decisions of the pound keeper to designate a dog by the name of Jigar as a dangerous dog. The authority of the tribunal includes the following: to make any decision the pound keeper could have made, to direct that the owner do anything under Dog Bylaw 250/2005 that the tribunal considers proper, and or to substitute its opinion for that of the pound keeper. The tribunal will make a decision that furthers the public's interest and is consistent with the purpose and intent of the Dog Bylaw. At this hearing, we have the following parties: Allison Banting, the city case presenter; Harvin Sangha, the appellant, who is in attendance at this point.
Madam Chair, he is not in attendance.
Okay, so Harvin Sangha, who is not in attendance, who is also the appellant, and the city case presenter evidence. City case presenter evidence. I will now turn the floor over to the city case presenter to bring its case, including presenting evidence through its witnesses. City
Good morning,
case presenter.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
It's Allison Banting for the city, and good morning, tribunal members. Just wondering if, given that Mr. Sangha is the appellant and he's not present, would I be able to ask that the appeal be dismissed as abandoned and the designation be upheld, given that there's no appellant present?
In case this matter should be appealed at a later date for whatever reasons, I think it's prudent that the evidence is put onto the record, but I will take consensus of my fellow tribunal members. Member Malcolm and Member Ford, what say you?
I say that the information and the evidence should still be read for the record, and then the motion put forward again for it to be granted. Just a synopsis or submission.
Has there been any indication of why this person has not appeared, or have we had any correspondence whatsoever?
Through you, Madam Chair, this is Tammy, the legislative coordinator for the committee. At this time, I have not received any correspondence via email or messages from the appellant. However, this morning I did contact the appellant's home, and the brother, I believe, advised that Mr. Sangha was at work in training and that they were going to contact him and ask him to log on to hear his appeal. And I believe he's still not on the line via phone or virtually.
In that case, I think, as my colleagues have said, put the information on record and move on from there.
Yeah, we'll just proceed by way of ex parte, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. If I can ask that the compendium then be entered as exhibit number 1.
Yes.
It's been noted.
Okay, and so this is the dangerous dog designation for the dog named Jigger, owned by Harvin Sangha of 9 Newbury Crescent. I can indicate that Jigger was designated as potentially dangerous back in April of 2015 as a result of some investigations that were done in 2014 and incidents in 2015 and April of that year, and he was designated by the pound keeper as potentially dangerous. I will now be calling, I have 2 civilian witnesses. If I can just confirm that the second witness, Ralph Stanley, is also in session.
Through you, Madam Chair, yes, both witnesses, Tara Alonso and Ralph Stanley, are present.
Okay. So there's 2 civilian witnesses that will be called, along with Carrie Cross, the animal control officer, and then James Laflemme, the manager of animal control.
Madam Prosecutor, just a brief indulgence.
Sure.
Madam Chair, in regards to my submissions regarding the prosecutor's request, my response was not clear enough. We understand that this is an appeal that is brought on the other party's side to us. I am only looking for a brief synopsis into the situation, not in regards to hearing witnesses, to then just have on the record with the accused being noted again, not showing up for the appeal. The information from the clerk is present, and based on that, I am willing to then give my motion. I'm thereby willing to grant a motion to say appeal is dismissed as abandoned.
And I agree with Marcia Malcolm. I think that's a very reasonable request. Thank you.
Just for the record, I think the witnesses should provide testimony and evidence just in case it does, in case this matter is appealed at a later date and we cannot get the civilian witnesses to testify at that later date. So I do think it's essential that their evidence is put on record, but since Member Malcolm and Member Ford think that the city case presenter should just provide a brief synopsis and not have the witnesses present evidence. I mean, I'm outnumbered here, so I will concede to my fellow members and agree to their suggestion.
Madam Chair, I'm just indicating that the witnesses' evidence is part of the package that was accepted as Exhibit 1, and based on that information, that is the evidence of me saying dismissed as abandoned. Just for further clarification.
Perhaps if I give a brief synopsis and then I could ask the civilian witnesses, given that they are in the hearing, if they wish to add anything or if they wish to give a brief synopsis of what occurred so that they are felt that they are heard at the hearing. Is that
acceptable?
That's agreeable.
Okay, so I'll just give a brief synopsis of what happened. Harvin Sanga of 9 Newbury Crescent is the owner of a dog named Jigger. It's a Dogo Argentino, 6-year-old white dog. It was designated as potentially dangerous in 2015. There was an incident that occurred on June the 3rd of 2020 involving Jigger, where Tara Alonso was walking her puppy named Minnie, and I'm not sure of the breed of her dog. She was walking her dog. Jigger was in his backyard. He managed to escape his backyard and attacked Minnie on the street. Minnie sustained significant injuries. She was hospitalized at the vet overnight and had puncture wounds, and her vet bill exceeded $1,000. Due to the unprovoked nature of the incident and the fact that the dog was designated potentially dangerous in the past, the pound keeper, after observing and looking at all the evidence and the wounds of Minnie, designated the dog dangerous. A dangerous dog is an individual dog that has, in the presence of mitigating factors, attacked, bitten, or caused injury to a person or demonstrated a propensity, tendency, or disposition to do so. B, has significantly injured a domestic animal, or C, having been previously designated as potentially dangerous, is kept or permitted to be kept in violation of the requirements for such dog. And I can indicate that my understanding of an increase to the designation to dangerous from potentially dangerous, as they have all the same requirements. However, he is required to be in a 6-sided pen when not in the home. Warning signs are required, and they're also required to obtain insurance for the dog. Perhaps if I can ask Ms. Alonso if she wishes to give a brief synopsis of what occurred on June 3rd of 2020.
So, Madam Chair, Tara Alonso, you're brought into the meeting now as a panelist, so you can unmute your microphone. But first, I believe Tammy will have to swear or affirm you in.
My apologies. I always forget that.
Thank you, Peter. Ms. Alonso, would you like to be sworn with the Bible or affirmed? Ms. Alonso, are you there?
Go ahead, Tara.
Okay. Hello?
Ms. Alonso,
Hi.
would you like to be sworn in with the Bible or affirmed?
With the Bible, please.
Thank you. Can you see the Bible now?
Yes.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Good morning, Ms. Alonso.
Hi.
Hi there.
Good
I'm the
morning.
case. Good
Sorry,
morning.
Good
I'm the
morning,
case.
Sharon.
I'm the case presenter for the city of Brampton. And so for this matter, the appellant hasn't attended the hearing. So we're just asking for you to give a brief synopsis of what happened on the day your dog was attacked.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. On June 3rd, I guess it was just before 1 p.m. It was a beautiful day. I had taken my dog out for a walk. She was on her leash, of course. It was, again, a beautiful day. There was many neighbors out and about. And I was at a point where I was walking towards the house where the dog came from, but there was nothing in sight. I proceeded to cross the street. We live on a crescent, and at that point, I guess my dog saw the dog running towards her, so she took off towards our home, but she ended up being attacked in the middle of the intersection. At that point, I felt helpless. I didn't know what to do. I just saw her body being thrown up in the air, tossed around, and I couldn't even look because I didn't want to see blood. So I just was screaming. A gentleman, one of the neighbors, came running towards the dog and was shouting at him to get away. And at that point, I believe my dog got loose, ran home because she knows where she lives. She was only about 4 months at the time. And then the dog owner came out, I guess, took his dog. At that point, I ran back to my home after the dog. And the gentleman that screamed at the dog and called him off came up to make sure she was okay. She was screaming and howling and just noises I've never heard before. My daughter and son came out of the house because they heard everything going on. Again, it was a beautiful day, so all the windows were open. The dog was backed up into the corner by the front entrance, and I wasn't sure if she was going to let me pick her up. I was scared she was going to bite me because she didn't know what was going on. She did let me pick her up. At that point, I was just consoling her. The dog owner came up, a young man and his aunt, I believe, to see if everything was okay. At that point, it looked like Minnie was I'm not going to say fine. I don't know. I needed to go into the house and see how she was. So I just said to them, you'll be paying for any vet bills, and they agreed. And the gentleman that again witnessed everything or scared the dog off, made sure we were okay and got in okay. When we did get into the house, we did notice the bleeding, and she did have puncture wounds. We took her to the vet. Later received a call that she would have to be hospitalized overnight because there were 3 puncture wounds, internal bruising, and she had to wear a cone, of course. Later on that evening, the dog owner and his aunt came over to see how she was.
I'm sorry, Miss Alonso. I'm terribly sorry to interrupt. I've just received notice that external counsel is suggesting a brief recess to confer with the committee members. So I'm just going to ask Mr. Fay how we would go about external counsel speaking with the members privately. Do we need to set up another forum? or can we do a breakout room?
No, through you, Madam Chair. I believe I'll let Rachel McPherson Duncan, who's external counsel to the tribunal, to address the committee if necessary. But I think what's happening right now is evidence is being entered into the record, and I think what probably should happen is that, just with the other hearings for today, the deliberations by the tribunal on its matters should still occur in private after all the hearings are concluded. And that way the deliberations can occur in private, and then the tribunal will make a decision whether or not to dismiss the appeal or to possibly defer the appeal to a later date. That's something that should happen in private, but I'll defer to Rachel if you wanted to add something to that, as opposed to proceeding into private deliberations right now.
Thank you, Peter. No, I think that's a good suggestion that we continue with private deliberations in camera prior to rendering any decisions with respect to the appeals being heard today.
Committee members, do you understand what is being requested?
I think so.
Yes.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm agreeable. Yes.
You may proceed. Ms. Alonso, you may proceed.
All right. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So at that point, I believe I was saying that the dog had to go to the hospital, and in the evening, the young man and his aunt came by to see how many was. At that point, I explained to him that she had to be hospitalized and that she did have 3 puncture wounds, and they were quite surprised. And I said, thank you for coming over. And I went over 2 days later with my daughter, and they were out the front of the house. Again, it was the aunt I approached because I said, I'm here with the vet bill. So she went and got her nephew, and he came out. He also has, I guess, a brother that is part owner of the dog as well. And I presented them with the vet bill with my phone number and email on it if they had any questions or wanted to communicate that way, at which point they said that they were not paying the bill because I was the one that called the city, which I was not. They refused to pay the vet bill until they understood what was going on. And he frankly had other costs that he would have probably incurred because, again, he was worried about who called the city and not what happened to my dog.
Okay, and if I can just ask that page number 17 of the compendium be shown. I believe that's the vet bill. And it indicates it was $1,034.51, the total of the vet bill. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and then starting at page number 18 of the compendium, you submitted some photographs?
Yes.
Okay, can I just ask, sorry, what type of dog do you have?
She's a Shih Tzu. At the time, she was 4 months old and she weighed 7 pounds.
Okay, and the dog Jigger that was involved in the incident, you described it as a white pit bull-like dog?
Correct.
Okay, what size could you estimate his size?
He's over 100 pounds for sure.
Oh.
an 85-pound dog at one point, and I considered him big, and I'd say he's twice the size of that.
Okay, so the photo that's up on the screen, I'm assuming that's a puncture wound?
Yes.
And what part? I'm just wondering what we're looking at.
Yeah, you're looking at her back end. It's all shaven there from the surgery or from the cleaning and whatever the vet had to do.
Okay, and then the next photograph at line 19, or page 19, sorry.
That's her leg area where he would have grabbed her from behind.
Okay, is that more wounds, or is that?
Well, there's a lot of scrapes as well. She had a lot of scrapes. So there were 3 wounds total, and then scraping from the pavement. So that wound that's showing there, that looks like a scrape.
Okay, and then page 20, I believe, is your hands where you were holding onto the leash, and then she got free.
Yeah, I have one of those retractable leashes, and when she managed to get the collar off, it retracted back and sliced my hand open, or my finger, sorry.
Okay, and how is Minnie doing today?
Oh, she's great, thank you.
Okay, good. Have you seen this dog since then?
Sorry?
Have you seen the dog, Jigger, that was involved in the incident since this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Any incidents that occurred as a result?
No. I don't walk that way anymore. I'm afraid to go down my street. I walk a different street now.
Okay, so do you live on the same street as this dog?
Yes.
Okay.
I like towards the corner. We live across the street, 3 houses down.
Okay. Is there anything else you wish the tribunal to know?
No, other than, again, the fact that the vet bill has not been paid, and it's due to them accusing me of being the one of calling the city.
Okay, thank you. I have no other questions for the witness.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now the tribunal members have an opportunity to ask questions of this witness. I'll ask Member Malcolm if you have any questions of this witness.
No questions, Madam Chair.
Member Ford, do you have any questions for this witness?
No, I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. And I have no questions for this witness.
Okay, so there is a second civilian witness, Ralph Stanley, who assisted Miss Alonso at the time of the incident, asking if he is available and can be sworn in.
Ralph, your microphone's active, and Tammy will swear you in or affirm you.
Yes, let's do a microphone check. Is that satisfactory?
Yes. Mr. Alonso, sorry, Mr. I don't have your name completely down. Mr. Stanley, do you wish? Okay, thank you. Would you like to be sworn in or affirmed?
Sworn in with the Bible's fine.
Thank you. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Thank you very much. You may proceed.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the tribunal. My name's Ralph Stanley. I listened to Tara Alonso's evidence, and I concur with it as I was at the scene. I submitted a statement that I guess you probably have in your booklet of evidence. On June 3rd, I was attending at 97 Newberry with my daughter, and I have a convertible so you can see, quite easily ahead of it. And we were loading the car with some odds and ends, and I noticed that Miss Alonso was walking her dog, and I noticed that she was crossing the street, and then I observed a large white-colored dog, fairly large dog, running unattended and not on a leash. The dog came out from a house which was directly across the street, and I was about, say, 14, 15 meters away, about 50 feet perhaps, and Miss Alonso was walking along by the intersection, and then I observed the large dog come out from the house and then attacked the very small dog, which was being locked on a leash by Miss Alonso. And she lives directly sort of behind on the corner at 97. There was a very loud commotion, growling, barking, and screams. And I observed the large dog attacking the small dog, had the small dog in its mouth. I then proceeded to run over to the scene and yelled very loudly to try to get the dog away from the small dog before something awful happened, or death or something along that line. And the aggressive dog was there, and then finally, with the commotion, the small dog was kind of being jostled around, I guess let go or got loose after my intervention. Small dog then ran away to the west, screaming very loudly in pain or scared, as this dog is like 6-7 times its size. The house occupants of the large dog then ran out and attended the scene. I cautioned the owners about having such an aggressive dog running loose. And then they also told them they should be coming over and apologizing to the dog owner. They proceeded to come over, and I think they did apologize. And they also agreed that they would pay any restitution or vet bills as a result of the unfortunate incidents. And then I cautioned the owners and said that you may want to not considering having such an aggressive dog, as there's other dogs in the area and small children which could be at risk. And that's my evidence.
Thank you, Mr. Stanley. I have no questions of you. I appreciate you coming here to and your assistance with Ms. Alonso on the date in question.
You're welcome.
Through you, Madam Chair, are there any questions from the committee members?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Let me ask the members. Member Malcolm, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Member Ford, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you, and I have no questions for this witness. And since the appellant is not here and I believe the city no longer has any witnesses to call?
The only witnesses we have are the animal control officer and the pound keeper.
Okay, so the floor is yours.
Okay, so if I can call Carrie Cross, the animal control officer.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Carrie, do you wish to be sworn or affirmed?
Swear, please.
Okay. Do you see the Bible?
Yep.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
And Carrie, you're an animal control officer with the city of Brampton, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you investigated the matter before the tribunal today?
I did, yes.
Okay, if you could just give a brief synopsis of your role in the investigation.
On June 3rd, 2020, we received a call regarding a bite incident that took place on Newberry. Prior to, I spoke with the victim. The victim had taken their dog to the Emerge clinic and they had identified that the dog came out of the white pit bull type dog came out of 9 Newberry, and we had quite extensive history on that previous dog. I did try to make contact with the dog owner. An order to comply was issued, and I then obtained a witness statement from the parties involved, and I then presented the case to the pound keeper.
Okay, and did you make contact with Mr. Senga?
I did. I had spoke to somebody who had called from a different phone number, and then he had indicated he was going to call me back, which he never did. But I did speak to him about the incident. He said that the dog just got out of the backyard.
Okay, and the dog is listed as a Dogo Argentino?
That is correct.
Would that be, would somebody seeing the dog on the street, does it look like a pit bull?
A lot of people will mix up a Dogo Argentino with pit bull, yes.
Okay. And are you familiar with this dog? Have you seen this dog in person?
I have not seen this dog in person.
Okay. Okay, is there, and you indicated there was previous incidents. Are you referring to the designation in 2015 for potentially dangerous?
That is correct.
Okay. Are you aware of any other incidents between those 2 dates?
Sorry to interrupt. Ms. Banting, could you repeat that date, please?
I think it was 2015. I said I think the dog was potentially designated potentially dangerous in 2015. And I'm just wondering if there was any incidents between 2015 and 2020. Ms. Cross is aware of that.
It is my understanding that there were charges before the courts in January of 2017 for the incidents, and then subsequently not since. It was just licensing purposes.
Okay, and the dog now has a dangerous dog license?
I believe they have purchased it. Let me just triple check here. They have purchased it.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Now the tribunal members have an opportunity to ask questions of this witness. Member Malcolm, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, Madam Chair.
Member Ford, do you have any questions for this witness? Member Ford, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. I also have no questions for this witness. I believe the city has one more witness that they would like to call.
Yes, James LaFlamme, I'm manager.
I'll affirm Tammy.
Mr. Laflamme, do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Good morning, Mr. LaFlamme. If you can just indicate your position with the City of Brampton.
I am the supervisor, one of the supervisors of animal services. I am also the designated pound keeper as per animal service manager Kathy Duncan.
Okay, and did you investigate the matter that's before the tribunal today?
I did review the file that was investigated by Officer Cross. That's part of my duties as the pound keeper is to review such files as serious bites and to use the bylaw under the City of Brampton bylaw to ensure public safety and use whatever facts or whatever laws I can to ensure I do that. So particular case, upon reviewing it, we were looking at a dog that was designated about 5 years ago as potentially dangerous, and the file had indicated that at that time, my predecessor found enough evidence that the dog was, in fact, running through the neighborhood, intimidating and charging at people, and based on what had happened there, did issue a notice of potentially dangerous. Part of that designation is to ensure that a potentially dangerous dog is kept in such a manner that it does not escape the house, escape the yard, and if it is outside, must be on a leash, muzzle, and be in full control of an adult person. Unfortunately, in this particular case, that did not happen. My understanding is that the gate was left open. The dog ran out toward the victim, grabbed the victim's dog, and what sounded like was throwing it around or shaking it in its head, which is an act generally to try to kill another animal. Because of the violation, of the requirements for potentially dangerous dog were violated, and the simple acts of this particular incident, I felt it warranted to designate the dog as a dangerous dog to ensure the safety of the citizens and animals within the city of Brampton.
Okay, thank you. I don't think I have any other questions.
Now the tribunal members have an opportunity to ask questions of this witness. I'll ask my tribunal members. Member Malcolm, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, Madam Chair.
Member Ford, do you have any questions for this witness?
No questions, thank you.
And I don't have any questions for myself. Thank you. And I believe that concludes the case of the city. So we'll move on to submissions. So we're at the point of closing submissions. The city case presenter will proceed first. The appellant is not present, but otherwise he would have had an opportunity to present his submissions as well. I will now turn the floor over to the city case presenter for closing submissions.
Okay, thank you. And I just wanted to indicate, I heard from Ms. Cross that Mr. Senga actually purchased a potentially dangerous license. He does not have a dangerous dog license as of today's date, just to clarify.
Okay, thank you.
But my submissions will be that we've heard the evidence from Ms. Alonzo and Mr. Stanley. Ms. Alonzo was walking her dog, Minnie, the time when Jigger, Mr. Senga's dog, attacked in the middle of the street. He was unleashed, unmuzzled. There was no owner in sight. We heard that the dog was taken. Jigger attacked Minnie, was throwing and shaking Minnie around. Mr. Stanley confirmed that the dog was being thrown about and was screaming, and subsequently sustained quite a few injuries. The dog had to remain overnight at the vet, and a bill of over $1,000 was incurred. Given the history of this dog, that it was designated potentially dangerous in 2015 from a few incidents, the pound keeper upgraded this to a dangerous dog. He indicated that it was unprovoked, and the attack seemed to be in a predatory fashion, and the injuries sustained by Minnie were quite excessive. To date, the vet bill has not been paid, and given the absence of Mr. Senga today and no other evidence presented, the city is asking that the designation of dangerous dog be upheld. Those are my submissions.
Thank you, everyone. This hearing is now complete and the matter adjourned. After the additional hearing matter, there are no additional matters, so I do apologize. The tribunal will retire to make its decision on this matter, and the decision of the tribunal will be provided to the appellant and other interested parties generally within 15 days of the hearing date. The decision of the tribunal is final and binding, but may be subjected to judicial review in certain circumstances.
Madam Chair, it's Peter. Before the tribunal adjourns to deliberate on today's hearings, there are items 3.4 and 3.5, which relate to a
I just
request for an
scrolled down.
extension.
Yes, I see that.
Ms. Kayla Winnick is present. She's been present at the start. So this is a request simply for an extension of time to file an appeal. But I leave that in your hands if you wish to hear from her or not. But it's not a hearing. This is just a request for an extension of time to appeal a designation.
We have items 3.4 and 3.5 listed on the agenda. For the committee's consideration, correspondence has been provided electronically and will be considered during the committee's deliberation.
Would you like, Madam Chair, to take a moment, the committee's members, to review the two pieces of correspondence?
Yes, please. Was that just emailed to us?
I believe so, and it's also on the screen.
Oh, let me go back to the screen. Sorry. Okay.
Richard, if you can go to the Kayla's letter. Yes, thank you. You can just scroll down.
Sorry, I actually can't read it. I'm going to have to open it up in my emails. I do apologize. Oh, that's better. Thank you.
I'm only able to access part of this document.
Members of the committee, the correspondence is also in the full agenda package I sent you last week for your review. They would be the last several pages in the full agenda, if it's easier. And I'm not too sure if Mr. Fay has sent the correspondence via email for your review as well. However, you do have them.
Okay, well, I have to go back into my emails.
For you, Madam Chair, the first letter is on the screen, and we can scroll up near the, well, I guess it is at the top, and we can scroll down so the members can read it. I think it's just a
that'll be
page and a bit.
good. I can read it if you scroll down.
Okay. So why don't we start at the top, Richa, please? And scroll down just a little more, just where it says, yeah.
Beryl, just let us know when you need us to scroll up a little more.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you could scroll up a little more now, please. Okay, I'm down at the bottom. If I can ask a question, Peter, is it customary for everybody to get 15 days?
Through you, Madam Chair, I believe it is, but I'll defer to Tammy. But there is a provision in the Brampton Appeal Tribunal bylaw that does allow for a request for an extension to appeal, which we're treating this as, after the 15-day appeal period has expired.
If there is a request to extend the appeal, does that have to be a good reason?
Through you, Madam Chair, the bylaw itself speaks to, and I'll just quote from the bylaw, the tribunal may extend the time for filing the appeal if it is satisfied that there are apparent grounds for the appeal and that there are reasonable grounds for an extension.
Okay, thank you. Well, the reason... Okay.
Is Ms. Winnick on the line right now? Is she able to speak?
Through you, Madam Chair, she is present if the tribunal wishes to hear from her.
I just have one question. She doesn't indicate the amount of time she's looking for the extension. And I wanted to know if the extension is granted, is 30 days sufficient enough for her to be able to have her paperwork properly submitted to the city?
Madam Chair, I'll unmute Kayla, and then Kayla, you can answer that question. So go ahead, Kayla.
Hi, thank you. So I would like to be able to do the appeal as soon as possible. So whatever I need to do, I would be able to do it immediately.
Are you able to get the paperwork into the city within 30 days?
Yes, so I'm not exactly sure what I need to do as far as that goes. Do I need to email or...
You'll be able to speak to the clerk of the city and contact their office, and they'll tell you the exact procedure of what is required for you to submit and how you can submit your documents.
So through you, Madam Chair, there is a letter that the person can file, and there is an appeal fee as well.
Thank you.
So, sorry, as far as the paperwork goes, is that just strictly like evidence that I would be submitting?
So, sorry, through you, Madam Chair, if I may, Kayla, if the appeal is granted by the committee, you would be contacting myself either at an arranged time to come into City Hall to make payment, or we can try and arrange that over the phone, but the payment is $200, and depending on how many days the committee grants for your appeal to be submitted to us, will be decided through a decision letter from external counsel, and you'll have X amount of days from the date of the letter to file your appeal if that is the wish of the committee.
Okay.
Do we have to make the decision on record, or do you want us to go in camera and make the decision whether or not we should extend or not extend the time for a file?
Through you, Madam Chair, that is really at the discretion of the committee, but I'll defer to Rachel, Tribunal Counsel, if that's something that should be deliberated on in closed session, in private session.
I'll leave it to the committee as well. I do suggest that if there are deliberations to be had, that they be done in camera and that a decision be rendered after.
Peter, can I ask Kayla a question, or at least direct it? Is Kayla and her boyfriend aware of the process for an appeal and the fact that there's forms to be submitted and there's a fee to be charged?
I'm aware that there's a fee. I'm not so sure if I'm aware of the exact paperwork that I need to file.
Okay, thank you, Kayla.
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Chair, I can clarify that. Kayla, in the event that your appeal is granted, you would have 15, 30 days, whatever the amount of days are that the committee grants for you to appeal. You would have to submit your letter of appeal with your reasons why, which may very well, we might be able to accept this letter if the committee agrees upon it, and you would have to make your payment for the appeal, and I would request from Animal Services the original order to comply designation for that particular dog, and we would proceed from there. Everything will be outlined in the letter that you do receive via registered mail, and you would be contacting me directly for further information.
Okay. Thank you. So I will concede with the majority of the tribunal members if they would like to either, I guess, agree to the extension or deliberate. Member Malcolm?
My decision is for us to go privately to discuss and for a letter to be sent to Ms. Winnick through external counsel.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Member Ford? Sorry, Member Ford?
Yes, I agree with Ms. Malcolm. I would be prepared to discuss it in camera.
Thank you. I also concur with Member Malcolm. I believe it is something that we need to discuss in camera with council. Thank you. So our last item of business, item 4, which is the adjournment. This meeting is adjourned, after which the tribunal will retire to deliberate and decide on the matters heard today. Stay safe, stay healthy. Please practice physical distancing and wear a mask or face covering inside public spaces. Thank you.
Thank you, members of the committee. The tribunal. The live stream will end momentarily. And I did send you a separate email with a link to your private deliberations through my